Now that's what I call good customer service. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Guitar Gear Trader. I'm Steve, coming at you from Nashville, Tennessee, as always. And today, I want to talk to you a little bit about customer service and how customer service has changed over the years. And there is still hope for companies to give you some good customer service. But first, before we get into that, do me a favor, hit like, hit subscribe, share this video with some friends, leave a comment, and do me a favor, check out my band. Okay, I have a band. It's called Vintage Voltage. It's a cover band here in Nashville, Tennessee. Do a lot of rock and roll kind of music, 90s alternative, classic rock kind of stuff. The heavier side of everything. But we got our first gig coming up in about 2 weeks, and we're really excited. We got about 8 gigs lined up for the fall, so we're really pumped about that. So check that out at Vintage Voltage Band, and it's this logo. It's British because we got a British dude in the band. Okay, he's pretty cool, so we put his flag on there. But today I want to talk about customer service because something happened to me last week that absolutely blew my mind, and I really didn't think there were companies out there that kind of gave a crap anymore and gave good customer service to their customers. But this company went above and beyond what was what I expected them to do, and I wanted to share that with you. This is not a sponsored video. No one pays me. I don't have enough subscribers yet for that to happen. But I do want to give this company some kudos because they deserve it, because they went above and beyond what was needed. So customers, I'm an older guy, right? I just turned 43 last week. If you watch my birthday guitar video, you'll know that I just turned 43 last week. So go watch that video. It's really good. It'll teach you how to read serial numbers on guitars so that you can buy a guitar that maybe was born, maybe that was made near the day you were born or on your birthday. But you'll know that I kind of yell at the cloud sometimes about things, and customer service is one of those things. As I've gotten older, I've noticed that companies give less and less good customer service as I've gotten older. I remember, being in my 20s and 30s. You go to stores, they want to help you, they want to keep your business, and it doesn't matter what kind of company it is. Could be a cable company, a phone company, a car company, and they used to want to make the customer happy so that the customer came back to that company and bought more stuff. One really big example in my life personally was my experience with the car company BMW, and back in the day, I got a scholarship to college, and my parents rewarded me with a really nice car when I was younger because I worked hard and I got that scholarship to college. I was a baseball player, and I earned a full scholarship. So my parents got me a nice BMW, a low line BMW. It's the cheapest BMW you could possibly get, but still it's a BMW, and I'm very grateful for that. But their customer service was unmatched. They gave you free oil changes. They gave you free service. Anything that broke on the car, they would fix. And I remember my lease being up, and I wanted to lease another car through them. I called up my salesperson that I went to for the first car, and over the phone, he got me exactly what I wanted. He's like, "Just come pick it up," and it was just an easy thing to do. And they just took care of you, and it was great. And then, so I bought 3 or 4 cars from them over the course of 12 or 15 years, and then all of a sudden they charge you more and they stop giving you as much stuff, and before you know it, it's just not worth it. I'm buying the expensive car because of the perks that I get from the service department, and now the service isn't there. Now why am I going to get the car? I can go get treated like this from a Toyota dealership and pay less money for just as good a car. And that's kind of like what's been happening in corporations from what I see over the past, decade or so. There's one company in music, that's why we're here, that That has not happened to you yet, and as far as I'm concerned, their customer service has gotten better and better and better and better over the years. And that company is Sweetwater. Now, Sweetwater is a big company. It's probably, in my opinion, it's probably the biggest online music retail store in the world. It would be really hard to argue that, right? You have Musician's Friend. I don't think they're as big as Sweetwater at this point. They might have been, 10, 15 years ago. I remember going to Musician's Friend a lot more than I went to Sweetwater back in the day. Guitar Center, I always went to the storefronts. Sam Ash, I always went to the storefronts. I never really did a lot of buying on their websites. But more and more, I found myself going to Sweetwater because of the customer service. And I've told stories about how, one quick story, I bought a J200. My dream acoustic guitar was a Gibson J200. So I moved to Tennessee, and I didn't have an acoustic with me. I never had a great acoustic guitar. I always had really awesome, amazing electrics, but I never really had a great acoustic. So I went online. I was like, you know what? I don't have any balance on my Sweetwater card. I have like an $8,000 limit or whatever it was. I'm going to buy my dream guitar. I'll pay it off over the 3 or 4 years, which is another great perk that Sweetwater gives you, but other companies do that too. So I go online and it's back ordered. It was the middle of COVID. It was back ordered. I understand. So I put in my order. They're not going to charge you till the guitar comes in and it ships. And it took almost 2 years for the guitar to come in. So right about 1.5 or 1 3/4 years, I'm getting a little antsy. I really want this guitar. I still don't have an acoustic here with me. So I go online onto Sweetwater and I see what they have in stock. And I notice that they have a D41 Martin, which is like the Cadillac of Martins. It's basically a D28 with all the bells and whistles you can possibly want. All the bindings, all the fancy inlays and things like that. So I call up my rep. His name was Ben at the time. And I was like, listen, man, I think I'm going to cancel the Gibson and I'm going to get the Martin because it's in stock and I'm tired of waiting and I really want an acoustic. I've been waiting almost 2 years. He goes, yeah, man, no problem. That's not a problem. We'll send it out tomorrow. So, 2 days later, I got a, $5,000 Martin in my hands and I'm absolutely loving this guitar. Well, the next day, or maybe 2 days later, Ben calls me up. He's like, Steve, the Gibsons came in. The ones that you've been waiting on for 2 years. I was like, oh no. He's like, listen, I never canceled your order because I thought they might come in. He's like, I'm going to send you the Gibson and you play both of them and you send back what you don't want. And I was like, you'll do that? He's like, yeah, absolutely. He's like, you waited for this a long time. I'll send you the guitars. I'll send you the Gibson. Play them both for a week or so. He's like, be careful with them. He's like, don't ding them or scratch them or anything. He goes, and then just send the one you don't want. Call me up, tell me which one you're sending back, and then we'll deal with it. And I was like, dude, that's amazing. Thank you so much. Then there was another thing that I did, another quick story, and this is all kudos for Sweetwater. I had bought a Pelham Blue standard Les Paul, and I really liked it, and it was cool. But I was like, you know what? I just can't buy into the fact that it's a blue Les Paul for some reason in my head. And if you've listened to the shows, I don't like blue Les Pauls. But I love the Pelham blue color, so I took a chance and bought it. Ended up I didn't like it, and I wanted to upgrade to a Les Paul custom. So I paid full price for this standard, maybe at the time $2,800, and I was like, you know what, I'd rather just get a custom because that's the guitar I really want. It was a lot more money, and that's probably why I went with the standard. But I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go with this custom. But I had this guitar for like almost a month, and I've been playing it in my house for almost a month. And I called up Ben, and I was like, listen, man, I really, this guitar is not doing it for me. I've been noodling around with it for a couple of weeks. Would you take it back if I upgraded my purchase? Spent an extra $1,500, $2,000 if I bought a Les Paul custom. I was like, it's perfect. There's no dings or anything on it. If there is, just send it back and I'll whatever. He's like, no problem. Send it back. I'll print you a receipt. And he did the swap for me. Couldn't believe it, right? I could not believe he went for it. But I gave him back a perfectly good guitar. So the most recent thing, and this is what I want to talk about today, is a couple of weeks ago, if you look back at my videos, I got my hands on a Dumble clone by Amplified Nation. It was an overdrive reverb amp from Amplified Nation that I traded a custom shop Telecaster for. I got the custom shop Telecaster because I traded an R7 Les Paul for it. And I just didn't like it. The neck was too fat. It was like a baseball bat. It didn't do the rock thing. It wanted to do more country and like, bluesy stuff, which was great. And that's what it sounded great doing that. But it wasn't for, like, Alice in Chains didn't sound good when I was playing on it, playing through it. So I traded for this overdrive reverb. And I get it, and it's an awesome amp. Really, amazing amp. It was lighter than I thought it was going to be. It had a really nice suede covering instead of Tolex, which made it look really cool. The reverb, the clean channel was amazing. The gain channel was really good, but it wasn't enough for the music I was playing. It was perfect for like Texas blues and for clean breakups and for like classic rock tones. But if you wanted to get like real heavy with it, it just wasn't there. And that doesn't take anything away from the amp. It just didn't fit my style. But I really liked it, and I'm a collector, and I'm like, I really want a Dumble clone in my collection, And Amplified Nation is known for making extremely well-built amps, and I really liked it. But I had an opportunity to trade that amp. I put it on Facebook like I always do, and I wanted to see what was going to come out of it. And what came out of it was someone offered me a trade for a limited edition / AFD, which is Appetite for Destruction amp, which is like the creme de la creme of Marshalls. So it was just about equally priced because I did my research. I wanted to see what the value of my Dumble clone by Amplified Nation was compared to that AFD amp, and they were roughly the same amount, right? I might have taken a $200-300 hit, but I got the head and I got the 4x12 cabinet along with it. So in my head, that's an even trade. So I swap the Amplified Nation head and a 1x12 cabinet for a 4x12 Marshall cabinet and the 100-watt AFD head. So then I'm kind of missing the fact that I was like, man, I really wanted that Dumble clone in my collection. I really wanted that Amplified Nation in my collection. Let me go on Sweetwater, see what they got, see what they're offering, because I know that they're a dealer. They're like one of the only dealers that I know online that you can get. I don't think you can get Amplified Nation amps at Musician's Friend or Zounds or whatever else. So I go into Sweetwater, and I do some research, and I find out that Amplified Nation actually has an amp that's made for heavier, guitar work. And it's called we got to look at it. It's called the Ampliphonics and Gain. It's called the Ampliphonics and Gain. One side of this amp basically replicates a Fender Bassman. So you get this beautiful Fender clean sound. And the other side is like a modded Plexi. So you get this raunchy, distorted, heavy Marshall amp on one channel, and you get this clean Fender channel on the other side. So I was like, you know what? Let me watch some videos on this. Let me see what people say about it, and then I'll make my decision. People love this amp. Obviously, people online always say they love stuff. It's very rare. I'm one of the rare people that will tell you the truth if I like something or if I don't like something. And I go on Sweetwater, and they have an open box. So this amp is normally, just the head, is $3,800. Now, I have a little bit of money on my Sweetwater card that I could add this amp to and pay it off over 4 years or whatever it is. But they have an open box. And that's another thing about Sweetwater that I love, is that they have open box demos, which are items that either were returned or maybe they were damaged and they sent back to Sweetwater. Sweetwater repairs them. But Sweetwater gives them, 100% checkup. They make sure they're working properly before they sell them to other people. But this amp was $1,000 off, right? It was like $2,800 as an open box. And I'm like, wow, that's a great price for a great amp. And I know it's going to be good because anything that they give you that's a demo or an open box, they give you a 2-year, no questions asked warranty with their products over at Sweetwater. So I was like, screw it, I'm going to do it. I buy it. It was like a 2 a.m. impulse buy. And it comes, and the rep calls me the next day. He's like, "Hey man, thanks for the purchase. This, these amps are awesome. Let me know if you need anything." Awesome. It's not Ben anymore. They transferred me to a new guy, Adam, who's phenomenal. So I get the amp. I'm so excited. I bring it home. It looks brand new, right? I have it in the Amplified Nation box. It has the foot switch. It's got the cable for the foot switch, which is like a 7-pin cable, which is Not my favorite, but it is what it is. And I plug it in. I hit that gain channel. The gain channel sounds freaking killer. It's heavy, it's raunchy, and I only have the gain like a quarter of the way up. I still have all this more gain to add onto it. I'm trying to A/B it with my orange Rock Reverb 50 over there, which is my favorite amp of all time. And I'm just loving it. And it's smaller and compact than the orange, so if I want to take it out, I can. And then I go to the clean channel, and this is where I'm like, I think something might be wrong with the amp. The volume of the gain channel is ridiculously loud, right? I have it between 1 and 2, like half. I have it just above 1, and like it's like I'm playing at Madison Square Garden. That's how loud the clean channel is. And the foot switch, it's a 2-button foot switch. One side affects what channel you're on, clean or gain, and the other one is a boost. But it's only on the clean channel. It's not a boost for the gain channel, which if I was Ampliphonics or Amplified Nation, I would change that. Put the boost on both channels. Make the boost for both. But the thing is, I'm never going to hit that boost button because the volume, I can only put that volume on 1.5 before it's Madison Square Garden loud. And if I hit the boost button, it's like Wembley Stadium loud. Right, which is I don't need that in the house, and I definitely don't need that in small little dive bars here in Tennessee. So I'm like, shit, what am I gonna do? Like, this is almost a $3,000. I almost paid $3,000. Oh, I did pay $3,000 for it with tax and everything. I can't keep an amp that I feel might be unplayable. The orange, that Rock Reverb 50, that has a built-in attenuator, so I could literally crank the crap out of the tubes and attenuate it. Built in, I don't have to buy an aux box or whatever the heck people use to attenuate. I can attenuate it right there on the amp, and I can play that 50-watt head at bedroom levels at midnight and not bother my family. So I email Adam over at Sweetwater, and I say, listen, what was the reason the last guy returned this amp? Was it because of the volume being too loud? Because like I'm barely over 1 on this amp, and it's stupid loud, right? It's crazy loud. So he writes me back real promptly, and he's like, no, he complained about the reverb, that the reverb wasn't working, and that a couple of knobs weren't doing what they're supposed to do. I'm like, no, that all that works. Every knob on here works. The reverb works. It's not as lush, the reverb on this one, as the reverb on the overdrive reverb was. The overdrive reverb, like, that was, you felt like you were in an ocean. Here, it's more normal. It's more of a normal reverb of depth and whatever, and speed, I guess. But I was like, no, all that's fine. It's just the clean volume is really, really loud. He's like, well, listen, I'm going to make a ticket for you there, and it'll be sent to the service department, and they'll contact you, and maybe there's something they can do about it. And I'm like, all right, well, I can't return it. I don't want to return it and pay full price for one. I was like, I don't really play the clean. In my head, I'm like, I don't play the clean channel all that much. And if I do, maybe 1.5 is okay for a small bar. Maybe I don't have to go much louder than that. I have to put it in the band setting to figure that out. I haven't taken it out of the house yet. So the next day, I get a call from the service department, and they ask me a couple of questions. And I'm like, yeah, it's just really loud. And, they're like, does everything else work? I'm like, yeah, everything else is fine. The amp's really killer. It sounds awesome. It's just the volume is so loud on the clean channel. So they go, okay, listen, we want to thank you for taking a chance on a demo. We have another one in stock, brand new. And in my head, I'm like, I don't want to pay I can't pay the difference. I can't afford to pay an extra $1,000 for this amp. They're like, we're going to send you the new one, send us the old one back, and enjoy the amp. And I'm waiting for them to say, we'll charge your card or this and that, and nothing. So they gave me a brand new, in the box, never played, never touched, $3,800 amp in return for an open box demo, because I wasn't 100% happy with how it sounded. So here is the amp. This amp is beautiful. They do such a good job with these suede Tolexes. So it's like a camel colored Tolex. And we have our gain channel on this side. We have our clean channel over here, our Ampliphonics channel. And To be honest, I'm going to be super, super honest, and I'm going to call up Sweetwater and be super, super honest with them as well. It's the same problem. Now, I had to do a lot of research, and there's very, very little about this amp as far as people complaining. And I'm not complaining either. It's just something that I needed to know about the amp. So apparently that's an issue with this particular amp that people talk about all the time, and that they say that you should get an attenuator for it. Now, I'm not going out and buying a $900 attenuator to drag around with me. I'll just play through the dirty channel, and I just won't play through the clean channel at home as much, because you can see where I have the volume here. The volume's not even at 2. This is the clean volume. And the little stick, let me get a pen here. That's where I have it set to. And that is so, so loud. I have to try it through different cabinets because I was putting it through a 2x12 orange with creambacks. So I have the matching cab for this on back order. So maybe when I put it through the matching cab, maybe it'll match up a little bit better. So I'm going to keep it. But it is still the same issue. You cannot put it any higher than that when people are awake in your house, because they are going to yell at you. Right? So and if you have an apartment, you cannot even turn this on with this volume. It's either off or this. This is where you start hearing sound. If you go any lower than where this is right now, it's off. It's not on. There's no sound. You put it up to there, which is, I don't know if that's necessarily almost 1 or almost 2, right? In my opinion, I think that's almost 2 because it's off underneath that, right? So that's almost 1. So I in my head, it's less than 1 volume, and it's too loud. If you're in an apartment, no matter what time of the day, you cannot play this amp in an apartment unless you have an attenuator. So it's brand new. It's brand spanking new. So I'm going to call up Sweetwater, and I'm going to tell them, listen, it's the same problem. Which one would you rather me send back? If you'd rather me send back the open box one, I'll send that one back. If you'd rather me send back the new one, I'll do that as well. I don't want to cheat them. They were good to me. I want to be good back to them. So, but I really like the amp. Like, I'm going to keep one of the, like, I'm keeping it. There's one of these I'm going to send back, and one of them I'm going to keep. But either way, I want to make sure I do the right thing by them. So I love the amp. Probably going to do a video on the amp to kind of show you how it sounds and how it works. I'm in the middle of getting a new studio, so hopefully in the next couple of months that gets finished up. We got the structure put up. Now we got to do all the fun electrical and finishing works. But I just wanted to give a big shout out over to Sweetwater because they are a great company. And in times like this where companies are giving you less and charging you more constantly, they are not doing that. They're not taking advantage of their customers. Hopefully they can sustain that, because I'm assuming the reason why companies do that, there's 2 reasons why companies are doing that. One, they're being greedy and they're trying to get out of you as much as they possibly can, or they can't afford to give you customer service like that because people are cheating them, right? Maybe people are calling and lying about things to get free stuff. Who knows? And maybe they're losing a lot of money. I don't know. I tend to be negative about it and tend to think the worst of big corporations. So I'm assuming they're cheating us and just, not keeping as many pennies as they possibly can. But maybe it just doesn't fit into the financial outlook of the company. Either way, they're giving you less and charging you more, but Sweetwater isn't. So if you need anything for a good price and you want to get good customer service and you want the reliability and the peace of mind that if something doesn't work or if you don't like it, it's not even that if it doesn't work. If you don't like it, right? I bought that Rockman 100 X100 pedal, and that thing was awful. That thing stunk. Everybody on the internet will tell you how great it is, but they won't tell you can't put it into an amp because it sounds like crap. Okay, but I got it. It sounded like crap. I called up my guy at Sweetwater. He's like, send it back. Here's a tag. Bring it to the post office. He's like, send it back. We'll give you a refund. I'm like, perfect. Thank you guys so much. So if you're going to buy something online, I try not to buy things online because I don't want to pay tax. But if you have to, go to Sweetwater, get yourself a Sweetwater card or something like that. This is not a paid promotion. It's just my personal opinion. The company's great. The people there are great. Check them out. Thanks for listening. Subscribe. Hit the like button. Share the show with your friends. Tell everybody about it. And I will see you next time. Peace out, guys.